Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Bonthe in Sierra Leone. I saw a tourist video that called it Bonthe. I thought it was Bonthe, but I guess it's Bonthe. So if anyone knows for sure, let me know. I'm just going with what I heard. Bonthe. Not complaining. Bonthe, as you can see, is located on an island. This is Sherbro Island here. But the region actually consists of like this much space here. Also, but all of this is pretty much marshland and farmland. Kind of like Sherbro Island. Sherbro Island is mostly mangrove swamps. And all up here along the shore is very swampy, mangrovey. Since Bonthe is the largest city on the island, sometimes it's called Bonthe Island, or apparently the locals also call it Christmas Island, which sounds pleasant. The island's named after the Sherbro culture that has lived here pretty much forever. There are also a very large number of Mende peoples that live in this region. And that's pretty much all the geography I've got. You've got the island, you've got some of the mainland, and it's all very swampy. I guess you could say it's along the Atlantic coast here, out into the ocean. But that's pretty much all I've got for you. So, like I said, the Sherbro people have been living here for forever, pretty much. Still do to this day. And this wasn't really ideal for the Portuguese when they were combing the coast here looking for places to build forts and find entrances into the mainland. But the British would eventually claim this island and the area of Sierra Leone pretty much. The island here is used as a slave port by the Royal African Company. But after the slave trade was abolished, Great Britain did a 180 and they said, we are super anti-slave trade. Sierra Leone was created to take people who had been kidnapped for slavery and kind of just put them somewhere where they can try to live out as close to the regular lives as they could, and for most of them a brand new place. Hence the name of the capital, Freetown. But they used this island as one of their anti-slave trade bases where they would patrol the coast looking for illegal slave traders. And if they found a ship, this was one of the places where they would repurpose the people who were being held captive on those ships. Now, apparently this was like an inspiring idea for some people over in the United States, which we actually talked about this last week on my channel because we talked about Liberia. I'll link that video up in the corner there for you to enjoy. I read an article that briefly mentions what happened here on Sherbro Island, but in a nutshell, there was a movement to send freed slaves over in the United States and Canada back to Africa, but they needed a place to do that. And in 1821, they picked Sherbro Island. They sent a little contingent of people to try to settle it, and it was a disaster. They all became very ill and very malnourished here on this swampy island. So they relocated in 1822 to what's now Monrovia, Liberia. Freetown, though, was a colony of Great Britain, and in 1861 it acquired Sherbro Island in the region here, and therefore once Sierra Leone became independent, it's part of Sierra Leone. Bonthe was used as a naval base during both World Wars, World War I, World War II. And it was a pretty thriving, bustling port town by the late 20th century. Very almost kind of European in its design, like grid pattern, big buildings, big churches, things like that. But that all ended during the Civil War in the 1990s and early 2000s. Bonthe was pretty damaged by that event and has not recovered since then. It is a shell of what it once was. And what's interesting is I'm, reading all of these tourist websites, watching all these tourist videos. They've kind of made it like an aspect of tourism. Like, come see this empty ghost town. It's not a ghost town. There's many people. There's like thousands of people that live there. But come see these blown out buildings, these empty colonial buildings. And, this place was once a slave auction and now it's just an empty, desolate shell, Come see the devastation of Bonthe, which I think is kind of sad, but they're playing it up, so that's interesting, I think. I can think it would be pretty much interesting to see. It's like things to do in Bonthe. Walk around. Look around. Interesting. But this area was also important for IDPs, which means internally displaced peoples. People who lost their home during the Civil War could be safely relocated to this kind of empty, marshy, swampy area and have some relative safety. There was, of course, the issue of the West African Ebola outbreak in 2014. Sierra Leone was very badly hit. A lot of people along the coast here were very badly affected by the Ebola virus, by this breakout. It would last pretty much until 2016, which I've talked about a couple times recently. We talked about Liberia. We've talked about Sierra Leone a couple of times recently. So I've discussed the Ebola virus and how it is a very seriously deadly virus, but we can now treat it and cure it, which is incredible considering it pretty much liquefies your insides. So yeah, pretty amazing that it's treatable and curable nowadays. But another strange fact about Sherbro Island is that, okay, do you guys know who Idris Elba is? I hope you do, because he's a fantastic actor. He's also incredibly good looking, but incredible actor, except in Cats. Don't watch the Cats movie. That movie's a tragedy. Idris Elba's an amazing actor. His father's from Sierra Leone. His parents met and married in Sierra Leone, so he's half Sierra Leonean and half Ghanaian, I believe. He has decided to buy a part of Sherbro Island. He wants to build a huge wind farm there, Sierra Leone's first wind farm, and make some green energy in order to try to eventually, I guess, rebuild Bonthe and turn Sherbro Island into a, I just blinked on what it's called, like a duty-free island, a special economic zone. That's what it's called, a special economic zone. And have it kind of be a little tourist visiting destination, which I think, bringing green energy to anywhere is a great idea. But we've kind of seen in history what happens when you try to make serious settlements on Sherbro Island. And I don't know how well the big picture is going to work. I think a wind farm, solar farm, green energy farm is a great idea. I'm not sure about an economic zone. But, more money that's being put into helping the peoples who live here, helping the infrastructure here. It doesn't really matter where that money comes from or the ambitions behind it, as long as it benefits the people here. I think that's fine. I think that's totally fine. So go ahead, Idris Elba. You can do that if you so choose. We'll see if anything comes of that. But that is the history that I have for Bonthe. So There are pretty much no pictures on Google Earth. There are some of Bonthe, but it's, like I said, it's a pretty rundown city, so the pictures aren't great. And everywhere else has nothing because it's just farmland and swamps. So I prepared a special little treat for you. I made you a soundscape of you having an adventure through the mangrove swamp. So I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think, because I would love to make more soundscapes like this. I think they're so relaxing. So just chill out and enjoy your trip in the mangroves. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Let me know your comments down below. And let's see what's next on the channel. Next we're going to Paraguay. We're going to go to a really interesting place in Paraguay, where the majority of the population speaks German. And if you're wondering how is that, I guess you'll have to subscribe, so you'll find out. Be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational. And I hope that you have a good